How's it everybody? It's Nick here from Enhanced Physio, and in this video I'm going to be chatting about the theme, what it takes. So this is something that I've been reflecting about for a while and doing some journaling on, and just kind of like reviewing what the past few years have been like for me in terms of finishing off a master's degree and coursework, starting a business from absolute scratch, being in debt with student fees and startup costs for a business, and then turning that over, growing a brand, building a brand, expanding a practice, while having life happening in the background. So getting engaged, moving houses, getting married during a pandemic, all those sorts of things. So in this video, I'm going to be chatting to you about what it takes, or what the background to all of those happenings have been like for me. So to start this video, I wanted to be absolutely clear that in no way, shape or form do I want this to be tooting my own horn. I'm not trying to humble brag. I'm not trying to flex as my school kids tell me. This is literally just my own experience and some of the sacrifices that I've had to make. And the reason why I think it's important to put it out there is because I think I'm guilty actually of sometimes only sharing the good things or making it look like it's really easy. And 90% of the time, like, people don't actually really care anyway. So I'm only really talking to 10% of the people that follow all my media, but I'm doing those 10% of followers or consumers and a disservice because I'm not really telling them the truth about what it actually takes, or what are the steps that are actually involved, or what are some of the sacrifices been like for me. So what a lot of people have no clue about in terms of my story is that in 2016, I think it was September of 2016, I resigned at a practice that I was working at, and basically had little to no plan as to what I was going to do. I was waiting for contracts to kind of like be signed, sealed, but I left before then. I was in the air about whether I was going to take over physio at Maritzburg United and be the team physio at that point. I knew that in December I was going to Junior World Cup with the South African junior hockey team, but I had all this time on my hands, and I basically just said, cool, I'm gonna jump in the deep end and see if I can swim. So fast forward a few months, all those sort of things happen. I'm working at Maritzburg United as the team physio. I have just started a practice at Hilton College, and I have also just enrolled for my master's, all in the same sort of space of time, probably like in a space of like 4 months, all of these things have happened. So I think we also moved house at that point in time, and Roz was also kind of transitioning jobs. So there was a lot going on. Student fees are expensive. Starting up a practice is expensive, and I was literally living off. I'd maxed out my credit card to pay my student fees. I'd borrowed money from a friend, Chandel Lombard. Hopefully you're watching, but you're an absolute biscuit. I'll always be grateful for you for that. I had to borrow money from a friend. Chandel, same person, was also kind of helping me in the startup processes of my practice, helping out at Maritzburg United. As a physio, she was the person that told me, look, you can do it, go for it, like, just back yourself and do it. Obviously I had Roz as well supporting me, but it was a hell of a stressful time, like not knowing if you can pay your rent, pay your car fee, your car, whatever repayments, if you can manage all your debits, all that sort of stuff, and having like literally debt hanging over your head is extremely stressful for a new business. And the only reason why I kind of went that route is because I believed at some level I could pull it off. But to pull it off, I had to really dive super deep into how to run a business properly, how to educate myself, learn about marketing, save as much costs as possible. That was some of the early parts of what it took to really start and build up. I've got an interesting story about how my logo got developed and what I ended up paying for it, but I'll save that for another story in a different date. But I think all these things kind of like help me learn about what are the sacrifices involved, and how do you juggle whether the risk is going to be worth the reward, and then how do you bridge the gap of making sure that the risk, all the steps that you take will make sure that you 100% reach whatever the reward is. So in terms of the masters, I did a master's coursework and dissertation through the University of Cape Town. The reason why I went here, I'd applied at other programs as well, but obviously the home of Sports Science Institute. I grew up in Cape Town. Newlands and the sports, or CISA, is literally right around the corner from my old high school. I spent some time there as a kid. I was involved in some of the sort of research projects that CISA were doing in the local kind of area, so I had exposure to this from a young age, and it was my dream to be part of this. This is the institute that Tim Noakes was at, and obviously I was fortunate enough to be lectured by him during the coursework, but also met so many other incredible professionals, experts, professors. What a great networking opportunity, what a great building to be able to go to and learn. So yeah, absolute dream come true for me, and I think that already kind of made it worth the whatever sacrifices was going to need to be taken. It's not easy. It's a 3-year process, sometimes 4 years. It took me 3 years, and then 3 year and a bit years, because I completed my dissertation just before I had to register, or would have had to register for my 4th year. So I snuck in there right at the back of 3 years, but because of all these obstacles, because I was working full-time during it, trying to study part-time, definitely not easy. So what does it take? Well, I always tell people that it cost me probably in the region of about 150 grand in terms of trips to Cape Town and tuition fees. I think that's gone up since then, but hell of a financial sacrifice to start off with. Second thing, time commitment. It is so hard to be working full-time, building a business, working your way out of debt, and having to put the time into doing this whole program. I remember when we started, the course convener said that you're probably gonna need to invest about 15 hours a week into this, just to keep up to date with the coursework, the readings, the assignments, all that sort of stuff. 15 hours a week is hard, especially when you're working full-time. You're working 8 to 5. I was with a football team and doing some traveling. I was starting in brand new practice and needing to see outpatients, and I was involved at a school where I'd probably work from about 2 in the afternoon till like 6:30 in the evening. So definitely not an easy feat. Also doing some traveling on that front. So to get 15 hours per week was insane. What sacrifice did it take? Well, I started getting up at literally like 3:45 so that I could start and be working by 5 a.m. every single morning. This bought me like 2 hours a day if I could keep up with it 5 days a week, which is not easy. Andrew Coppen will tell you, when we lived together in Maritzburg, he had just moved to Maritzburg to help me out at Maritzburg United. He then took over as first team physio, but I promise you, he will tell you that I used to wake up every morning and when he'd come out of his room, I'm sitting at the dining room table, headphones in, climbing into work. He obviously had a different sort of approach to it, but we both got to the end goal ultimately, and I'm proud of him for doing it his way. I wish I was more relaxed about it like he is, but that's just not my personality. So every morning, sort of 2 hours of studying. Weekends were study time, assignment time. I'm going to do a post where I show all the exam pad that I've used for like scrap notes with regards to just my dissertation. It's crazy. I need to recycle all that paper because it's like a rainforest that literally got taken down for all those scrap pieces of paper, because there's so much parts of it. When I was doing the data collection, when I was doing the writing up the dissertation, all the back and forth, it's actually a crazy amount of time if you think about it, and I can't believe that it's over. So there's the time commitment, there's the travel commitment. I had to take leave 5 times in the first year, and I think 4 times in my second year, plus a trip or two to go do discussions about data. I had to take 2 weeks off as well in that sort of period to actually go collect my data. I think 2018 I had to reshuffle my schedule to meet 2019, 2019, I had to reshuffle my sort of working schedule so that I could have one morning a week where I actually dedicated fully to the studies, which you obviously don't get paid for. So there's all these kind of things in the background that at the end of it, it always looks cool. They're like, oh, someone did a master's and it looks great. But I mean, and it's not just me. Speak to anybody else that you know that's done this, and I think they'll tell you the same story. It's not an easy feat to do, especially while you are working. Then circling back to some of the business practice stuff. So obviously working while you're studying is not easy. Working when you are basically your own startup, not easy either. You are the marketing person, you are the business admin, you're the receptionist, you're taking all your bookings, you're managing all the paperwork, you're seeing all the patients as well. So you are literally everything, and in a small operation it's not easy to do. And a lot of people told me, well, firstly they said, no, don't study while you're starting up a business. Do one or the other, okay? Threw that out the window. A lot of people also said to me, no, don't go all into soccer because it's contract based. What happens if a new coach comes in and you lose the job? People also said, don't focus on schools. Literally, someone told me, and I won't say who it is, but someone told me, no, don't go practice at a school. You're going to lose all your clinical skills because the patients are so different. People will do whatever to convince you why what you're doing is a bad idea, but ultimately it's your decision. It's no one else's decision but your own. So if you believe in it, cool, that's one thing. The next thing is you got to do the hard work to make sure that you reach your eventual goal. And the hard work in the behind the scenes is all the extra learning. It's like watching YouTube stuff about what the heck is cash flow. It's about getting in touch and trying to learn from my accountant has turned into my sort of business guru or advisor, mentor, because I've taken the time to say, okay, cool, I'm going to pay you every month to manage my accounts, but I'm also going to come sit with you so that you can teach me why these things are important, so I can apply it, so I can make changes without having to be dependent on you as well. And that whole like self-sustainable model is literally, it's how I've set up everything in my life, from the practice to the business to my personal life. Everything I believe you can fix, everything you can make better, everything is within your own sort of realm of control. I'm not a victim of circumstance at all, and I don't think anybody is. It's obviously just hard for us to break through a lot of our own personal beliefs, but I can build a successful business. I can operate with a model that's maybe slightly different to what traditional physio is, and it might not work here and there, but I believe I'm building a team and a movement of the right people to do it. I'm fortunate to have a beautiful wife who supports me, who has got the same approach where we build it, we don't buy it. She's had to learn so much design skills, literally also business skills, e-commerce. Everything that we do is literally, okay, cool, what do I have to watch on YouTube to get started? What book can I buy to get going? Who's done it that I can have a conversation with? And not just to suck information out, because, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but a lot of people are like, oh cool, how did you start up? Give me the SparkNotes version in 5 minutes. You kind of have to watch the whole story, and I think it's always more genuine when you follow the content and support the content, and then you ask for advice. I think just as a rapport, respect type of thing, it's probably the best professional way to do it, instead of being like, okay, cool, I don't watch any of your stuff, I don't support your practice, I don't really like what you're doing, but you're doing something that I want to do, so tell me what you're doing, and then I'm going to get mad if you don't really help. So, mini rant officially done, back on track. There is an immeasurable amount of sacrifices that it takes, and I think for me personally, there's also a fair amount of obsession. Like I'll lose sleep over this because it means that much to me, and I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do it because it means that much to me. Literally, being the best version of myself is how I'm going to fulfill my values of making my wife proud of me, making my parents proud of me, making sure that I'm fulfilling my values of looking after people and being compassionate as a physio, helping people return to health, overcome pain and injury. I am obsessed about it because it's my calling, and I owe it to myself and I owe it to everybody that's in my immediate circle to bring the best version of myself to them every single day. So whatever sacrifices that takes, I think that's just how I am as a person. And I think just on my own sort of growth and development through this whole pandemic thing, I think I'm also going to stop apologizing for it, because yeah, I'm going to be that guy that wakes up at 4 o'clock to work on a work project. I'm going to be that guy that's always got 4 projects on the go and something exciting to always tell you about, or something new that I'm working on. That's just how I am. I always thought that I'd have so much more time on my hands now that my master's is done. We're in a pandemic and I don't have a thesis to work on anymore, but my schedule is even fuller than usual, because I'm like, okay, cool, now let's put more energy into my new business. Let's work on some new projects. What other value can I kind of add? How can I move into the e-commerce space? What new things can I bring to my practice, to my business, to myself, to kind of add within my value scheme? So yeah, I'm just grateful for everybody that's supported me, obviously, besides my family and my wife, who have been absolutely incredible, and because of them I do everything that I do. I've got a incredible business partner, a really hardworking man, Neil, thank you so much. All my friends that have followed along, the inner circle that knows the journey is not smooth at all, the people that I've been to that I'm like, jeepers, I'm on the edge of a breakdown. Yeah, close friends, love you guys to the end of the world. Thank you for everybody who's out there that watches this. I really hope that, if nothing else, it kind of just shows you that if you want it, it is possible for you. If I can do it, anybody can do it for sure. You've just got to figure a few things out for yourself. It's not easy, but it is worth it. And if you really want to do it, any of the sacrifices will be completely worth paying in the end. So thanks so much for watching this, guys. I really appreciate it. Give me some thoughts and feedback. I'd love to hear from you. And keep supporting Enhanced Physio. Watch the space. Always got lots of exciting things coming up. And really appreciate the support. Take care.